Hello, Franklin Township families. I wanted to walk you through what our consistent Canvas experience will be looking like for this school year, just so that way you have a heads up of what your child will see. This is what the homepage is going to look like for your child for every single course that they have. We've now added it so that teachers just have the class name, the last name of the teacher, and then there will be a logo for either the junior high or the high school. On here, we've now narrowed it down to 3 buttons. And so we're going to have agenda, class resources, and contact. The information that the teacher is going to add at the bottom that your child will see is just a little blurb about their class. We ask them to keep it short and sweet, no more than 8 sentences. We ask them to not have any hyperlinks, just a little bit of a overview blurb about their class. When your child taps on agenda, I wanted you to see what the options are. All teachers have this bar that say agenda. We did give them options on what the agenda could look like. Underneath here, you might see Google Slides. You might just see a simple text box or a Google Doc, maybe even a Google Sheet or a link to the Canvas calendar. But I did want you all to know as parents, these are the items that we're telling all teachers that they must include on their agenda. Give a brief gist of what's being covered during the week, assignments, assessments that are coming up, and a child or a parent has to have the ability to see previous weeks. So I wanted you to know that that is what we are having all of our teachers do. Anytime that your child wants to go back to the home, they're just going to always come over here to the side and tap on the word home, and it takes them back to the home page. So now that we've talked about the agenda button, I'm going to talk about class resources. So under class resources, I've instructed teachers to list anything for their class that a student might need access to at any time of the year, whether if it's them doing something that goes with Unit 1, Unit 5. It doesn't matter when in the year it is that the teacher's teaching that content. What's a resource that they want the student to have access to any time of the year? A lot of teachers have put like a link to their course syllabus, their classroom management plan, if they have study resources, common websites that they go to, they have listed it under here under class resources. So the last button says contact. And so under this contact button, we've asked teachers to add their email, their classroom phone number, what are their office hours, when can a child reach out to them, and any additional links. Now, under additional links, a lot of our teachers have put like a link if they need to contact the counselor, if they need to contact someone because their computer is having an issue, and so on. That's why we just listed if there's somebody else that you need to contact for something, then have it fall under this category. So again, we've tried to simplify what this homepage looks like, and we wanted to have that consistency between our teachers so that way it's easier for students and parents alike. Another item that you're going to notice on your child's Canvas is that this sidebar over here, these items are going to be in this order in every course. Home, we have one for announcements, but it will not show up unless the teacher has populated an announcement. Right now, I don't have an announcement, so that's why you don't see anything. Modules and assignments. So if there is an announcement, you're going to see 4 items visible on the sidebar. If not, then you'll see 3. Teachers might have additional links on the sidebar that they want students to see, but we've really focused on only having those visible if they're really going to need it, and it has to be underneath that word assignments. So that way in every single course, all kids are seeing the same order: home, modules, assignments. up at the top of the sidebar. Okay. I'm going to refer back to this agenda. So I want all families to know that, again, this is when the teacher is telling the student, this is the gist of what we're going to be covering. So you're going to see dates on here. When your child needs to get to content, when we're in a math class, science class, any of those, after I know what the gist is that the teacher is doing, here is where I'm going to come to find the content. It says modules. Okay. So what I want you to understand is that modules are basically like a table of contents of all of the content that the teacher has for their course. Some teachers have their modules labeled by unit. So it's going to go in order of the year, Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, and so on. Some teachers have it listed by cycles because they're going to do quarter 1, cycle 1, quarter 1, cycle 2. These are called module topics, so that's going to be like a name. But underneath the module is where the student is going to find their information. So I have a couple of samples of what your child might see. You might see something different than these, but all teachers are now organizing their content under modules. The first one I'm going to show you is a high school sample. So this comes from a math teacher. And so if he says that he's teaching Unit 1, and in his agenda, it says, oh, yes, I'm covering 1.1 through 1.3. Those are going to be the lessons that we're going to focus on. At any point, the student can click on the Unit 1 materials and they can glide across and see all the content that the teacher needs them to see. For instance, if there's any homework, there's going to be a direct link to that. If the teacher has a video that they've created to support it, then they might have something there. Basically, any notes information about that content. We've tried to streamline the use of Canvas pages and having teachers try to have their content together in one location if at all possible. Basically to make their lives easier and a student or parent's lives easier as they're trying to navigate Canvas. Another example that you might see, so again, this one is a sample from our junior high in science. So this science teacher is doing quarter 1, cycle 1. They're going to be doing environmental science. This teacher has chosen to have everything laid out in Google Slides. In her agenda, it may say, hey, today we're going to be doing Earth spheres. So then the student can tap on it and it's going to take them to all of the content that they would need for that lesson. And the nice part is that the teacher could use it in class, and now the student has a place to refer back to it. But it doesn't matter if they're using something like Google Slides or a table. What I want all families to know that all content is going to be organized in modules. So if at any time your child needs to get to the lesson, get to the content that they need, they can go to modules in any course. In addition to that, assignments. As a teacher makes an assignment in Canvas, the child can tap on assignments and they will be listed under here as well. This is just another location where a child can see, like, what assignments do I have coming up. As always, if the child were to tap on calendar for that course, all teachers now must have a due date with an assignment, and we have added that layer that they must have the due date because we know that if there is no due date attached to it, then it does not populate on the Canvas calendar. So we wanted to make sure that we have that expectation for them so that you guys as parents and guardians, that you guys can find exactly what's going on. Okay, so I just wanted to give a quick overview of what the new consistent Canvas experience looks like. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Nadine, nadine.gilkison, GILKISON, at ftcsc.org. Thanks so much.